What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I am so excited y'all are here, and a lot of you guessed it. I kept it a secret for a little while, but a lot of you guessed it. Yes, we are digging a pond. Now, before we get started, guys, I want to address something really quick. Some of you might be here because of this video right here. About 2 years ago, we actually dug a really tiny little pond. We actually dammed up a creek on the property that CJ used to live on. And our plan was to build kind of like this hidden little pond in the woods, maybe stock some little fish in there, do some bushcraft type of stuff back there. And it was really cool and really fun, but unfortunately, guys, we had to abandon that project. So the creek that fed that pond actually kept drying up, and CJ moved away from the property that we had it on. So we, I'm not sure we could even go back to the pond if we wanted to. But listen, don't go anywhere, because I promise you what we are doing now is much bigger, much greater, much cooler than that tiny little pond in the woods. And I kind of explained everything that's happened in our lives for the past 6 months in the last video, if you guys want to go check that out. But basically, just to recap, me and my wife, we moved to her grandparents' estate. It's on 20 acres. It's just incredible. It's gorgeous. And when we moved here, I, told my wife I was kicking around the idea of building a pond. And at first it was really just kind of like pie in the sky, kind of a dream, maybe one day we'll do it. But some things went right for us with our old house when we sold our old house, and we got the opportunity and the position to really do this. So guys, let's rewind to November of this past year, where this journey begins. Episode 1 of the pond build coming at y'all. Hope you enjoy. Well, guys, here we go. The time has finally come. This is episode 1 of the pond build. And this is where it's going down, right here in this field, this unassuming hay field. You'd pass it by probably driving through the country and never know that this is the site where, man, my dreams are gonna come true, guys, no joke. And the goal for this pond truly is to create a dream fishing pond. We want the fishing here to just be downright epic. And the focus here really is going to be around largemouth and creating a really good largemouth bass fishery. Now, I'm going to talk a lot more about this as the series goes on, because there's a lot of science and different things that go into creating a really good largemouth bass fishery. It all depends on your goals. It depends on, what you truly want out of the pond. For us, I think really the goal is to have a good fishing pond. Yes, we want really big fish as well, and we're going to try to grow really big fish. But there's a big difference between trying to grow the maximum potential size for your bass and creating a really good fishing pond with a high success rate and a high catch rate. We ultimately want to have a pond that has good sized fish, but has a high catch rate first and foremost. Again, we'll explain more of this as the series goes on. So guys, we're on Google Earth now, and you can see the whole outline of the property here. And I've went ahead and drawn up a blueprint of the pond so you guys can get sort of an idea of what this pond will look like. You can see the outline there. And we're figuring this is going to be about 2 acres, which I think is perfect. We could try to make this thing a little bit bigger, but if we do, then we're going to have to build the dam up higher. And as you can see, there's a road right there. And if in North Carolina and I think elsewhere, if you build a dam that's higher than a road, then you've got to get a whole bunch of permits, and you have to classify it as a high hazard dam, and basically jump through all these hoops and pay all this extra money. So we're going to try to keep this dam at the same height or lower than the road which we figure will give us a pond about this size. So yeah, this is kind of the rough blueprint of the pond, and in this darker blue area is where I'm imagining the deeper basin to be. I would love for this to be about 10 to 12 feet at the deepest, maybe average about 8 feet throughout this deep basin. And then in these shallow areas, I've got these sort of yellow areas highlighted. I'm thinking we can put some bluegill beds in here. Get some pea gravel, pour it into those shallow areas, and create some really nice bedding for not only bluegill but bass as well. And then here we've got the spillway. I think I'm going to go with just a regular spillway and not do a standpipe or anything else like that. And then of course we're going to build a dock, and for the dock I want it to be on this side, which is closer to the house, and I want it also to access deep water. I think that's pretty crucial too. I want to be able to jump into the water and be able to swim around with family and friends. So the dock will go right there, and then of course guys, we'll have a bunch of habitat and cover, brush piles, probably some big boulders and other things like that that we'll throw into the pond to create good habitat for those bass. I'm really going to focus a lot on habitat once the build is done. So there'll be a lot of really cool episodes on creating habitat for sure. So for this pond build, I hired a guy named Trainset. I don't know how he got that nickname, but he's dug some awesome ponds before, and he's got a good fleet of equipment, including this big old dozer. I just love seeing these things up close, guys. They're so impressive. They're so cool. And then here's a little mini skid steer. That thing's pretty cool. And one of the first things we had to do is actually put in a clay ramp that actually accesses the field. And this is pretty crucial because he needed it to get his big truck down there that was carrying both his mini excavator, which is this guy right here, as well as this big boy, the big excavator. There's a good shot right there. Man, that thing, guys, I tell you what, I've got a newfound respect for these big machines as well as the people who operate them. I think we take them for granted passing by construction sites and things like that. They are just so impressive up close.
Y'all, that is one big piece of equipment right there. Holy moly. Woo-hoo-hoo!
And Trainset wasted no time getting started, getting that topsoil peeled off. And the goal here is to hopefully find some good clay content below this topsoil, because you need good dense clay in order to hold water. And I didn't get any core samples drilled to see if there was clay down there, but typically around this region you've got really good clay content almost everywhere, so I'm pretty confident we'll hit that good Carolina clay just below this topsoil.
Trainset's got the big boy out. He is breaking ground. Woo, look at that thing work. That thing is, I know y'all can't really tell. That thing is a beast. I'm like afraid to get too close to it. This is our topsoil out here, and this, I was told this used to be all cow pasture out here. So the soil is just black and very nutrient rich, and Trainset was telling me, you know, people would pay a great price for this soil, and we might end up selling some of it. I mean, there's a ton of it out here, and yeah, people will pay top dollar for really, really good topsoil right now.
And as you can tell here, guys, some of that nice orange Carolina clay is starting to show itself a few feet down below that layer of topsoil. You can really tell right there it's starting to break through, and as he keeps digging down, I suspect we will find just more and more of that really good, tight packing clay. That's exactly what we want for this pond. And of course, we had to get Holdy out here to get his thoughts on the pond so far. I think he likes it. He's definitely mesmerized by the excavator, just like I was.
Wow. He's like, what is that thing? I've never seen anything like that in my short little life. So guys, one other thing we're going to be doing out here is setting up trail cameras. We've got a lot of wildlife out here on the property, so I've been told lots of deer, lots of different things running around. So we definitely want to try to capture some of those for you guys and just see what's living out here. So we've got a couple of different cellular cameras. These are going to send photos directly to my phone, and then we've got a couple different brands of just regular trail cameras. All right guys, we got one of our cams set up right here on this tree. I think this is a perfect spot. I went ahead and put out a little corn pile with a mineral lick, and this is along the back edge of the property. This trail right here runs along the back edge to the woods. There's a big tract of woods over there, and this tree line right here extends out and kind of runs along the very back edge of my property. The house is way up there on the hill. So I think there's a lot of animals that are going to be passing through here. Can't wait to see what we capture. All right guys, here is one of the cell cams, and this one's pretty cool. It's got a video screen on it, so pretty cool. I'll be able to see stuff in real time, hopefully. I've got another little corn pile out here. It's in a little bit of a ditch down here along the back edge of the property. This should definitely be a good travel zone for deer and any other curious wildlife, so definitely excited about this one. And here is the third camera. This is just a regular trail camera, and I put this one all the way back on the far edge of the property back here across the field where the pond's gonna go, to see if anything is moving way back here to my neighbor's land, maybe possibly back here from this big old cornfield. So we'll see. And guys, the final camera, the second cell camera, is going right here in this big grove of big oak trees. And y'all, the reason why I put a camera here is because I don't know if you can see real well down there, but there are lots and lots of these acorns, and I've always heard that deer really love acorns. So I bet you, if I had to make a guess, there's probably going to be some deer action around here, and of course put a little bit of corn maybe just to give them a little extra motivation to come back here. But yeah, I am so excited to see what lives out here, guys. This is going to be really interesting. And there we go, right off the bat, we've got deer showing up. This is the cell cam where all the acorns are, and there's a pretty decent number of deer out here, it looks like, so that's a really good sign. Now guys, I'm not a huge hunter, and I'm not planning on shooting anything this season, but we do have plans to put in some food plots next season and really get into this deer hunting thing. Not only for sport, but for meat as well. You know, my wife and I, we love venison. We've had a lot of our hunting friends give us venison. And I think it'd be cool to, you know, harvest some deer, have some venison kind of stocked up, and maybe even do some cool cooking segments on here with some venison recipes. Maybe comment down below if you've got any. But for now, these deer are safe, at least from me. And it looks like we have plenty of other critters running around the property as well. These are some shots from the non-cell cams, and I just have those set on picture mode. Got a little furry raccoon right there. And hey, there's a skunk. That's pretty cool. And it looks like we've got a cat prowling around. Really interesting color on that guy. Looks like the tail came from one kind of cat and the body came from a completely different kind of cat. That's kind of weird. Ooh, and it looks like we've got a fox out here. That is so cool. I love these guys. I'm pretty sure that's a gray fox, but I'm not positive. Leave a comment if you know what kind of fox this is. Okay, now I had a feeling these guys were out here, and it looks like my suspicions were confirmed. Those are coyotes, and I'm honestly not too stoked about these guys being out here. Look at that one on top of the hay bale. That's pretty wild. But yeah, I'm not a coyote expert or anything, guys, but we do have a small-ish dog that likes to roam around. And I've been told coyotes can really stress out the deer as well, so we might be looking at some ways to get rid of these dudes. So stay tuned for that.
So here we are at day 3 of this pond build, really day 2 of actual digging. And things are progressing along nicely, guys. We're starting to get down to more of that good clay. And we've got a couple dump trucks on site now that are hauling dirt, getting it out of the way so train set can really start to carve out the basin of this pond. But it's really amazing how much progress we've made in only 2 days of digging. So we're definitely ahead of schedule. And Trainset actually thinks we'll be finished digging in about a month, depending on the weather. We really need it to stay dry. So hopefully we don't get any big rains anytime soon. But guys, that's gonna wrap it up for part 1. We are just getting started here, embarking on this journey. I am so glad that you guys can come along with us. Stay tuned, be sure to like and subscribe. Part 2 is on the way. We'll see y'all then.